Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Horror Master. Oh god, I actually cannot believe I'm back into making videos. After nearly a month without any videos, I am finally back. And sure, I know I made shorts, but, well, I just like making long-form videos way better. I mean, shorts are so, short in my opinion that they might as well not even be real videos for the day. But anyways, yeah, I'm just so glad I'm finally back in my brand new room. Now, the other side where my bed is just currently getting set up, but that will be reviewed hopefully by tomorrow. But yes, I am back making videos, and we should be back on a normal schedule beginning now. So if you guys like to see more content, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification button. It's completely free, and I would greatly appreciate it. And we're currently slowly making it up to 5K subscribers, so maybe we can reach 5K by 2026. Who knows? But go ahead and hit the subscribe button because I'm back and I'm gonna start making tons of content and sure, some things have been delayed and stuff, but don't worry, I'm still gonna have a bunch of cool videos coming out this month, and I am finally back because the Amazing Digital Circus Episode 7, titled Beach Episode, finally came out after a nearly 4-month wait, and yeah, this episode was quite something to say the least. I can totally see why this episode would divide the fandom because I've seen plenty of reactions to this episode, and they were and each one of them were incredibly different from one after the other. My personal reaction, well, I would just straight up say this. This is by far the best episode of the Amazing Digital Circus so far. I just feel like every episode keeps getting better and better, and by the time episode 9 comes out, I'll do a full ranking of every single episode, because I just feel like every single one is just gonna get better and better, so my ranking will probably just be, like episodes in order, but who knows. I mean, I did switch some spots from my other videos, so, from my other Digital Circus reviews, so, some placements might be lower than others, and we just have to wait and see. But anyways, without further ado, this episode is about 32 minutes long, so let's get right into it. And let's not have a long intro this time, so without further ado, let's get into it. I hate that episode. Well, maybe you should quit being a Digital Circus fan. But I am from the Digital Circus, you idiot. Oh, I forgot. Anyways, let's get right into it. The brand new episode begins with Subo inside of a toy box with Pony, Ragatha, and Gingle telling her that Kane is completely missing. And then they get a letter from Kane, which is actually a reference to the internet show where dads get out to get milk and they're literally just gone for centuries. Also, quick note, why does the animation look so fucking good? Like, every episode, like, every time I watch an episode, I'm like, how can animation get better than that? And then they always do. Like, why does Kane look all cute now? Like, he looks so cute now. Or maybe it just looks better because of my 65-inch TV I now have. I don't know. So it turns out Kane doesn't even have a Avenger plan because now he's incredibly lazy. So they just, he allows them to do whatever he wants. He asks them to give out suggestions. Gango ruins it, of course, because she's Gango. And then Kane shows them the Chinese room, which turns out to be incredibly awkward, to say the least. Yeah, it just turns out to be a joke where Kane can't even read Chinese, which, fun fact, I actually learned Chinese this year, and I still cannot even read what it says on the paper, so it just tells you guys that I still am not good at Chinese whatsoever. And then Kane just tells them, like, hey, why not check out Digital Wake or something, because you guys don't even explore them.
To throw a freaking beach party.
Good boy.
Turns out episode 5 was foreshadowing after all. Anyway, so the cats decide to go on a beach adventure. And then Kane over here also tells them there's NPCs they never even seen, and it turns out they're just dumb. And then it turns out we get to the teaser we were shown at New York Comic Con and the Glitch Direct, where the cats are at the beach. They go into Kane's magical booth thing. And then we get more screen time with the sun, which is actually really cool because that's what the sun said in the episode, the season 1 trailer of the show. And then they troll Jax's face. And if you guys have been wondering where he has been the whole time, well, it just looks like he's not too happy. Because here's the thing, in episode 6, like, he, was a bitch to Pomni, and he nearly almost attracted in the bathroom. Yeah, well, he's not doing too great in this episode, so we don't get this. So if you guys were hoping for the mean Jax we've been seeing the past 6 episodes, well, that won't be the case in this episode. So sorry, Jax fans, you guys are probably not gonna like this episode. And then Raghafa loses her eyes, so Pomni has to go down to the digital wake and...
Hey there.
What the?
If you want to find my sunken treasure chest,
what the fuck is that? So yeah, we get really creepy fishes. So yeah, it looks like Kane has just completely run out of budget at this point, because these fishes must have cost like $2 to make, no joke. Like, even the wooden NPCs look better than these. These literally look like nightmare fuel from PlayStation 1 games. It's actually, in fact, this actually creeped me out because, like, they just look so ugly in their voices.
So, I was just talking with my brother here, and yeah, you are definitely not getting our sunken treasure chest. Definitely not.
Yeah, see what I mean?
Dude? Oh my god. Oh god. Oh my god, I'm gonna be sick.
Yeah, Pomni, I just get out here. And then Raghafa just gets a little frustrated and looking, and then Pomni just goes down and looks for Eye again. Well, we get Jaxie Boy over here, and he gets splashed with some water, and then we get more screen time with Jax and Subal. Also, why does the water make Jax look so plasticky? And it looks so good at the same time. Like, look how gorgeous these visuals look. Like, I'm so impressed with Gosseworx here, or I forgot who animated this episode, but this episode looks better than most cartoons I see these days. Yeah, that's right. It looks better than K-pop Demon Hunters. Yeah, I never seen K-pop Demon Hunters, but it's so overrated that I don't even want to watch it. But this looks better. I've seen clips of K-pop Demon Hunters. This looks better. We all have to admit, right, guys? And then Subal just goes on about Jax bullying Ginkle and pushing over people into like ponds and stuff, and then blah blah blah. Jax is just not even in the mood. Like, he's just not even like, he's just not even smiling or anything. He's just all grumpy.
If I do still have problems, I talk about them with the people I trust.
Good thing I don't have any problems then.
You don't have any problems, huh? Are you sure about that? Also, I'm glad they had Jax keep his tail instead of just having it be in a gag in episode 6, because that's what I was hoping, and that's a good thing he has his tail, because it just makes more sense. If if it was gone in this episode, it would just make no sense. And then Pomni gets done, and we see a little cute shrimp. Yeah, now this shrimp looks much better than those creepy fishes. And then we get to see this weird mannequin down there, which we've been seeing every episode, basically. And then, the mannequin tells Pomni to come, and then, she, comes to him. And then we get a really dark, creepy room, which actually turns out to be Jaxie Boy's room. Finally, we get to see his room. And then when he flips over his little picture, it turns out to be a picture of Jax, Cosmo, and Ribbit. Which, finally, we get to see Ribbit's design for the first time, outside of the concept on Gosseworx post. And then we just get to see Jax more depressed and miserable. You can really tell he misses his friends, Cosmo and Ribbit, and that is basically why he's kind of miserable, and, it played a big part in episode 6, and it also plays a big part in this episode. I mean, come on, Kane, just on track. I hope they can get on track, how do I say, unobstructed, so Jax can see his friends again, because I just want to see my Jaxie Boy happy again, because he's my favorite character, and I don't want him to uptrack in a future episode. Please, anyone else but him. And then we get to see a triangle hole just randomly appear, and then Jax gets all scared, and then we get to see some creepy froggy hands. And then, we get this really weird scene where both hands make contacts, and then, yeah, oh god, good grief, he's naked. Yeah, this entire digital circus scene was not on my bingo card for 2025. But basically, what's going on here is, well, what I believe is, and what most people believe is, he's nearly going through an abstraction, and this is kind of how people abstract. This is how it is before they abstract. They go into this really weird ass world, and they're like kind of almost in peace while they're turning into an abstracted monster. Yeah, I'm not living in this world now. Like, this is like worse than death. So this scene goes on for quite a long time, as you can tell. It's like literally goes on for like 2 minutes, but then Jax hears a doorbell and he gets up, which saves him from abstraction. Also, if you pause a few frames, you can actually see Jax's eyes are nearly abstracted, meaning he was literally about to abstract. But doorbell saved his life, so I guess doorbells can be a good thing after all. Another interesting detail I noticed that Jax's room is very girly. I wonder why. And then Jax opens the door claiming he wasn't in that, but he really wasn't. But then we get to meet this new mannequin, which actually is not an NPC, he's a human.
Yeah, he's not actually an NPC. He's a human. Like us.
Yes, I know. Getting stuck with a blank mannequin body of all things. Kane completely overlooked me.
Now I love how we finally get to meet this mannequin. We've been seeing him watching the Digital Circus members for all of this time, every episode. I mean, I don't think he was in episode 6, but I know he was definitely in the rest of them. And I just love how we get to finally meet him and stuff, because he was definitely an important part of the series. Not only do we get to meet him for the first time, he refused something we all been waiting for.
I think I found the way to leave.
That's right, so this is not even a beach episode after all. Despite the episode title claiming it's a beach episode, we're only in the beach for like 2 minutes. And then the rest of the episode's gonna be about the cats trying to leave the circus, which I'm so glad we get to finally get an episode that is connected to the pilot, because the past some episodes have been either adventures or pure character development. But since now we're past the character development phase, now it's time to get to the important part, the circus stuff. What's in the elements? What's up with Kane? And this episode starts the final act. And I just love how this series is set up. Like, first we go through the character development, so we now know all the characters outside of basically Jax. But we're starting to slowly learn more about him, and we're probably going to get his backstory in episode 8 and stuff, so I hope episode 8 or 9, so, yeah, but I love how we're talking about the exit door, so this is a great idea. Why is it called Beach episode, though? It should have been titled Exit or something. I don't know. So they tell Jax to go get the keys, because he is, of course, the master of keys, because he has every key in the, circus. So they go to the Chinese room, and then try to open the door. But before that, Pomni asks if Jax could come. He almost refuses, but thank God he decides to come, because if he didn't, then he probably would have abstracted. So good job, Jax. None of the keys even fit the keyhole, but of course the classic trick is to just open it.
Oh, thank God.
So Pomni wants to go get Kaner, but this mannequin says that they have quote unquote, he seems to have a relationship around with Kaner, and they are not. But yeah, the mannequin claims that that him and Kaner have done things they're not too proud of, which gives us a mystery that could Kaner be a villain? Which actually got me really curious when I first watched it, because it seems like Kaner was the most trustworthy person of this whole circus, but maybe he is a twist villain. So we get lots of war tropes in this scene about CNA and the mannequin as a whole, and even Kane. How Kaner works with the MP and with the mannequin. And how he was like a developer of the circus, and like how Kaner also worked with him. So yeah, we get a whole backstory on CNA, which is a really good thing, because we've been waiting to get something about CNA for quite some time. And then Jax just flat out says none of them are CNA employees, which was quite obvious. And then the man can refuse that Kane is an AI, which it was pretty obvious. An AI, he says, to entertain the circus members. Basically, he's basically saying to keep their minds active and entertainment. So basically, we were right the whole time that Kane just wants to keep these the circus members active, entertained, and keep their minds activated and stuff, and not bored. And which is why he keeps creating adventures to get up their faces and stuff. And then they make the plans to how they're gonna get to the circus and all this stuff and blah blah blah. They're gonna go and reach Kane's office, and then they'll terminate the console, and then they can get out. But they're gonna need something like administrator, where to go? Administrator privileges. That's right. That's what they were called. I forgot for a second because my mind is not active today. And they're also gonna have to get the keys from Kane to enter his office and all of this stuff, blah blah blah. Chuck Farrow says that Chuck doesn't believe they can't say him, and he's like, Kane is just gonna say congratulations on doing the escape, the circus adventure. Then the mannequin obviously tells us that he's been watching them. We get footage from episode 3, the pilot, and I think this is from episode 4, like an extra scene from episode 4 we never got to see or something. And this is obviously from episode 2. So yeah, he's been suffering in the circus as well as everyone else, been trapped. He's not a creation of Kane, he's just a human, and all this blah 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 stuff. So then he draws a goofy face to basically to become a different mannequin to the point where Kane can't tell he's an NPC. And then we get the name reveal of him, which turns out to be...
My name is Abel.
So, yep, he was Abel the whole time. So, CNA stands for Cain and Abel, which we know Cain, and this mannequin is Abel. So now we know who Abel is. But then he just turns out to say, yeah, it was a cool name. So they begin the plan. So Jax goes out and asks Cain for dinner, which Cain is really excited in this scene. Never seen him so excited in my life. Like, I really thought he was just gonna glitch throughout this whole episode, but no, he's super happy in this episode. He's like SpongeBob. So it turns out Jax is gonna have to grab the key from inside his mouth, which is pretty disgusting. Like, I don't want to reach inside someone's mouth. Ugh. Also, I'm gonna stop hyping the animation because I know we gotta talk about the episode. But why does Jax look so good in this shot? Like, it just looks so clean. Like, this is really 8K quality here. And then Jax asks Cain about some secret hobbies, which Cain is really excited to tell him. And then Cain starts bugging out.
I think a human would ever want to ask me about my... This is the most fantastical moment of my...
Which he's gotta start reaching inside his mouth with. Which turns out to be the most awkward scene in television history.
Have I ever told you how it's my dream to get eaten by you?
Yeah, it's super weird. And then we get a scene with Pomni and Raghafa talking about, circus things, like how, they trust Kaner the most out of anything. Abel hears the fact they're talking about, Kaner, and, like, how, like, they can trust him and stuff. The mannequin hears them, Abel, and is basically saying that things between them are complicated. Like, he's not giving out information, he's just, it's just complicated between them. He also made a promise to someone, which gets revealed later in the episode, so stay tuned. They also ask Abel what will happen to the people in this hour, and he says he doesn't know, but let's hope for the best. He finds a way to secretly enter this wall, just by going through the wall like it was Mario 64 or something. Well, we get revealed that Cain wants to go inside this random-ass place, which just looks gross. I don't want to go in there. It looks like a, gym locker place or something. And then Cain gets really excited in this scene again, to the point where, he, starts bugging out again.
I really am trying my best to make you guys happy, and... being appreciated for that just makes me want to...
So, good news. Jax finally got it out of its mouth. The key, which, oh, thank God. I bet he didn't want to put his hand in its mouth anymore. I mean, just be lucky he had gloves on. And Jax is basically telling him the gills are getting him in a surprise, so Cain teleports him back. and we get another picture of the place he wants to be. Well, we get a scene with Supel and Gangle that they're still basically waiting for Jax. Gangle wants to tell Kaner about this since they feel bad about not including him. After we'll talk if they should or not, because they need to follow Abel's instructions, they finally do go and tell him. So then they tell Kaner, and Kaner is just basically confused. He doesn't know who Abel is, and he just doesn't really know what they're talking about, which gives us a question. Should we trust Abel or Kaner?
But she said,
Huh? Leave the circus? How would you... No, that doesn't make sense.
we met up with Abel. He says he was one of the original programmers, and he knows how to shut off the game and free us.
Who?
We'll continue this conversation later. Just thought I'd give you a heads up.
Personally, I'm just kind of in the middle. Like when I first watched it, I was in the middle. But I definitely thought. But a few seconds later, I definitely believed in Kaner because Abel, we don't really know him, and Kaner we've been following since the first episode. And then we get to see Jax to his original form, but then Supel basically turns him back into his sad self and saying, does he have anyone waiting for him outside? Now we're back to miserable Jax. That's sad. So Abel, Ragafoot, and Pomni goes to get the administrator privileges or passes, and this scene just makes Abel sound really, really sus. He's basically saying that he doesn't want to give one to Kaner because of his mental state, but they want to. And then we get this really sussy scene of him.
Yeah, when he uses it responsibly.
What?
And Ragafoot freaks out and telling him in simple way, she's just basically saying, don't hide anything from us. If there's information, please tell us. And he's just saying, well, you guys will find that out soon. I'm kind of starting to get to the point where I don't even trust this mannequin now, because he's definitely hiding something, and I don't believe he'll escape the circus. And then Supel is just complaining that Jax took forever and we don't know if he took care of it, and then we got an argument.
But we really have no way of knowing.
Such little faith in me. Goodness.
Oh, I wonder why. If this whole thing gets messed up because of you, I swear to God.
Yeah, let's just all follow Mr. Obvious Twist Villain instead.
You know, Jax is probably right. This man is probably just a villain, because he is a twist villain after all. That's what I believe anyways, but we'll just have to wait and see. But then Ragafoot stops the argument, and then she just says we're all gonna make it out together. So they give all the administrator passes, and Jax is just not wanting to even look at Pomni. He just takes it from her, and she's like, "Stay away from me." Of course, the reasoning being because of their argument from episode 6, so it turns out Jax is still not in the mood to hang out with Pomni. Pomni still wants to give him a second chance, but Jax does not, because he is embarrassed of what he's done. Or shame, I should say. Pomni gives one to Kaner, and Kaner just looks at it confused, and then Kaner wants to tell Pomni something, but the light just makes Kaner forget everything. Basically confirming that he knows everything when he's in the dark, but in the light he just basically forgets everything. Which is a really interesting character development for Kaner, because he seemed to act crazy in the pilot, but a lot more calm in episode 3. And the reason why is because in episode 1, he was basically in the light all the time, but in episode 3, he was in the dark a lot, so he acted way more calm. Even though in the pilot, like, he was in the dark room reading the Glen Queen, so I'm not sure why he still acted crazy, but that could just be a mistake or something. I don't know. But this is a really interesting character because this definitely makes Kaner one of my favorite characters, probably my second or third. So Abel over here grabs a cube, and since the circus does not do well with cube collisions, he tosses all of them into the cube. Rolls them up as balls, and then basically chumps them up into the balloon, making them go down the slide, having it go on to Kane's office.
Oh, like basketball.
Such a cool job. And then we get another suspicious scene with Abel that he's not gonna come with them, but just tells her to make the right choice. Tommy says he'll buy him a beer, and then he just says makes the right choice again, which is another really suspicious scene with him. But he just grabs Pomni, rolls her up as well, and then collisions her. Rankova got worried that something happened down there, which kinda did. And then we get an entrance to Kane's office, which turns out to be a bunch of orbs for past adventures. This room looks so sick, by the way. We know these are past adventures because we get to see the Candy Kingdom in one of them, which we know they went on in episode 2. See right there. And then we get this interesting scene. So we actually get to hear Ribba's voice in that shot. And Jack's so this has to be a adventure Jax went on with Ribbit, and you can clearly tell, like, Kane, just give Jax his friend back already, damn. Pomni acts as if he's okay, and he's just saying he's doing great. Yeah, sure. Rankova opens up the door meanwhile, and then, this is it, they are going to be weaving the digital circus. So, of course, in any emotional scene, all the characters grab hands, and then they basically walk. Well, except Jax. He just doesn't want to. He's cringed out. Because Chaxy Boy there, he doesn't want any friends anymore. So they go all walk, and we get these cool shots of these random floating shape. Like, we got a donut, a triangle, and then we get this really sweet moment with Subo and Gangle, which is one of my favorite scenes of the whole episode. I love the friendship between them, and this scene just makes me like it even more. I've seen reactions of this scene, and people almost cried, which I don't blame them. It's a really sweet moment. I just recommend go watching it for yourself. But I love this scene. This scene makes me emotional every time. But of course we can't have any peace because Jax over there is just panicking and looking like he's almost about to abstract. Which I just feel bad for my Jaxy boy. And then we get to this really creepy dark room with a really old looking computer, and then if they click the red button, it will close the console and keep players inside the circuits, and the blue button will end the game, and players can go back to their real world. So even though they should have clicked the blue button, Pomni is a little concerned about what button to press because, it could always be a trick. Maybe the red button is the leave button and the blue button is the stay button. But after arguing with the characters, we get another intense scene with Jax.
No matter what we press, Kane's gonna know we were here. We should push it.
Hold on. Let's just wait a second and go over everything we know, and maybe we can vote on it or something?
This is an interesting scene because we get flashes of possibly what Jax's life was like before he went to Circus, which turns out like it looks like he was like driving a car above like a highway or something, and then he seemed like to be crashing into something. Who knows? But this is a really interesting detail and definitely can give off many theories. Trust me, I've seen many thumbnails and videos of what this scene could possibly be. And then Jax panics, puts his Zubo, and clicks the red button. Smart choice, Jax. And then we get whatever fuck this is.
Congratulations, my little cattywampus cucumbers! You picked the good ending, where you realize you'd rather stay with me than go back to that pesky old macroverse or whatever we decide to call it. I knew you'd make the right choice.
You mean this was all...
An adventure, yes, and one I've been cooking up for a good long while. Great job playing your part, Abel.
Oh, and a good day's work. By the way, you think I could get a raise after that performance?
Oh, you're getting too smart. Time to delete.
So yes, it turns out Kane it just turns out the cats did not escape and they're gonna stay inside the circus, and this just turns out to be an adventure, so Jax was right the whole time. And I guess I guess it just turns out Abel made a promise to a hot dog? What? So yes, CNA stuff and all that stuff, Abel, none of it was true and was all completely a lie. It was just Kane's adventure all at this time. And then,
I can't believe I was right!
What would have happened if we picked the other button?
Oh, I didn't put too much thought into that one, cause I knew you'd never pick it. So I left that up to Bubble.
I'm gonna take you to Shrimp Town.
Yeah, it was gonna take you to Shrimp Town.
yeah, Chucks is freaking out and Bubble said if you picked Blue Bone, it's gonna take you to Shrimp Town? What the hell is Shrimp Town? Is that like another place in the circus? Is that another adventure? I don't know. Jax is just going wild, and then he gets pissed at Kane, admitting that he made Jax press the red button because he got inside of his head and forced him to press the red button, making us making us sworn that Kane can control people's mind. But stupid sauce, the vegan thing from episode 5, everything. It names everything. So Kane can actually mess with the people's minds, meaning that everything the characters think could either be fake, meaning that the backstories we learned in episode 5, all of that could also be fake, and Kane can also choose what people he wants to attract to. That's why, for Shax, when Shax was about to attract, the more vulnerable people Kane can mess with. And then that's why Shax was going for all that hallucinations earlier this episode with, the freaking Ribbon Cosmo thing. And that's why he nearly attracted. I mean, all attractions are Kane's fault. And it just proves by Kane saying,
Scratch. The first abstraction.
Yeah, the first abstraction was also Kane's fault. Also, if you guys are wondering who Scratch is, this is Scratch right here because on I believe it was Blue Sky, we did get a post that this is Scratch. So this poor little doggy right here actually was the first abstraction, which I feel bad for this poor dog. I actually thought his name was Stoby, but that was only because of the fast food item at Spud Seeds. But nope, it was Scratch. So yeah, Kane basically panics because the characters are right, so instead of a minute, Kane just, gives him a bucket of soaps and lotions? What? And then he just runs away and telewarps, so, bye Kane. And then we leave off at a total cliffhanger of the characters just standing shockingly. And that's it. Digital Circus episode 7. I knew this episode was going to leave off at a cliffhanger because I got information a while ago that episode 7 and 8 were meant to be one episode, but it got split into 2 parts. So yeah, this is basically the first part of episode 8. So that means episode 8 will be the second part of episode 8. So, yeah, that was it. So yes, this was an insane episode. That ending was incredibly shocking. But I love the ending because it gives us plenty of reveals. And while the last few, we only have 2 episodes left. We got lots of lore to still be discovered. I feel like I do trust Gosseworx to review everything at a good pace, because the last 2 episodes will probably be around 40 minutes, since, we still have an hour and a half of content left, so I do trust Gosseworx. But, yeah, that was episode 7. Overall, I loved it. It was a great episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Come on, you guys had to. It was definitely the best episode of the whole show by a landslide. Sure, every episode blows my mind, but this one especially blew my mind. This one was just insane, and I cannot wait for what direction episode 8 and 9 will take, because what's gonna happen? I literally have no clue what can happen now. If the circus members can't leave, is there really an exit? Or are they just gonna sit there and then go insane, and then the series will end with all of the characters just subtracting? Who knows? But maybe there is an exit. Who knows? But I don't think there's gonna be any more adventures, and the rest of the episodes will take place inside the circus. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode too, because I for sure did. I give this episode like a 200 out of 10. It was amazing. But Yeah, and even though episode 6 was my favorite for a long time, episode 6 was quickly beaten by this episode. And Gosseworx wasn't wrong with this being the most insane episode, because it was by far the most insane episode. Do I think the show will get darker from here? I actually do think it will. I know Gosseworx said episode 7 would be the darkest, but but I do feel like the show can get more intense from here. But we just have to wait and see. But anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm so glad to be back with videos, and there's a lot more coming soon, so yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next one. Oh, by the way, please stop appearing in every single one of my review, discussion, or whatever you call these videos. Why? I don't know. Listen, I got lots of things to work on. The Hornmaster World Season 2 is probably coming out really soon. There's a trailer coming out soon. And a release date will get reviewed really soon. Really? Yes. That's cool. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Bye. Okay, what's the point of that? Anyways, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Where did bro just go? And I'm gonna take over.